I'm going to critique this property, so if you decide to buy, design, or build a property yourself, you won't make the same mistakes. I'm Arvin Haddad. I'm the How to Buy a Mansion guy. I consult internationally. Link is in the description. Let's watch this one together.
Welcome to bright and sunny Los Angeles, baby. We are here in LA. Right now, we are in Bel Air. This is a 41,000 square foot Spanish style mega mansion.
Ryan, what part of this is Spanish to you? I know you're selling like condos and penthouses. Single family might not be your forte, but bro, there's nothing Spanish about this property. Come on. If you're asking me, I would say this is a very, very bad take on modernizing a French Normandy style. But to be very frank, I don't even think the architect knows what type of style it is. This is just a hodgepodge of an attempted modernization of a traditional building. It's just horrible. It doesn't have any identity, doesn't have any symmetry. It's just, let's stick as much square footage, 41,000 square foot, on hillside as we can. This is going to be a good episode. Let's watch it.
8 bedrooms, 21 bathrooms. We've got a full basketball court. We got 2 75-foot pools. We've got 8 bars. We've got 2 kitchens, 2 of everything. More stone than ever.
More stone than ever. See, this is like what's wrong with the industry, you know? It's such a cheesy way. It's like, okay, let's just put more stone and marble because that would justify the price. Instead of coming up with a cohesive design that architecturally would make sense.
I want you to see if you can start to count how much the construction costs here. We're going to go through it.
How much construction costs? I would say how much money they wasted. Because this property first initially came on the market for $100 million. And it's been a joke. It's come down all the way to $30 million. It went to auction or it didn't go to auction. It didn't sell. And now it's listed for lease, which is, again, and it's been years. I'm thinking maybe 4 or 5 years it's been on the market.
It's about to be one of the biggest property tours we've ever done. I've been waiting to get into this house for a year.
Bro, I've been spending my whole career not to go into this house. I swear to God, one of my nightmares is like a client calling saying, hey, Arvin, can't you show me this house? Because I would be like, oh man, this is like, I do not want any association with a transaction with a property that looks like this. It is hideous.
Oh my God, that door is so heavy. This is like straight iron. It's probably like rocket proof.
Wait a minute. He skipped the frontage. Look, this property does have a private driveway, but the frontage is against the mountain with a ginormous retainer wall, and you have like no frontage. You enter sideways to the street. I don't even think you can make a U-turn with your car, and you don't even see the facade of the building. You come sideways to it. It is a horrible approach. It just showcases that they've carved out the freaking hill to be able to build this mansion at this location.
There's a lot of doors in this house. The entire house, like I just said, we got 41,000 square feet. This is a Spanish-style mega mansion.
Spanish? Did you just read the property description and the listing agent said it's Spanish? You're like, hey, if they say it's Spanish, it's Spanish.
In the hills of Bel Air.
Do you notice one of the houses that actually look right into your property is the old Mohammed Hadid house? It's right here in this left corner. They're tearing it down and building something else in there. But the problem with this property is that it literally sits in the middle of the valley. And you've got 2 different ridges looking completely down on your property. It lacks privacy to the highest degree.
One of the things I love about this house so much, and we're gonna get to seeing it, I promise, is that it blends in to the neighborhood.
It does not. Ryan, what did you take before making this video? It blends in with the neighborhood. It's the most obnoxious piece of crap in the middle of the neighborhood. The neighbors are like scratching their head, like, who approved these plans?
So what we've got here is we've got 4 floors.
That's a negative. If you can achieve the same square footage in 2 floors, it's great. No one wants to take stairs, but this property is all on caissons. There's no real backyard here. It's all artificial. So to justify the exit price, they've just stacked as much square footage as you can to say, you know, it's an expensive property.
Let's start with living. And like I said before, this house has 8 bars, and our first one is literally right when you come inside. So the first bar is almost like you're at a resort. That's kind of how I think about this house on Soma. This is a 5-star resort home. That's really what it is. because this is where I would come in after I check in, right? You get the concierge.
First of all, notice the house looking into the property right there. But how odd that when you enter, you don't even see the bar. You have to go through this little hallway. At the end of it, you reach the turret, which kind of gives that kind of French Normandy style. And then you have a bar there. All this square footage and like this is that like little nook, and how it's disconnected to all the other areas in the property, it's really strange. I personally think this bar would never get used.
So this bar, it's fully set around, and it's in one of the domes. So as you saw in the drone shot that we did as we came in at the beginning of the video, you got the domes.
Domes, it's turrets, you know? It's like a French Normandy element.
There is millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars of stone in this house, because that's what it costs in about every single room, because they wanted this specific book match design to be right here to line up on the dead center line of that archway that lines up perfectly with that arched window in the entryway. Everything in this house was thought about.
I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. When you try to stack up the square footage to get a huge exit, you can do that, but you got to have the location for it. When you do that on a location that none of the people who can actually afford a property of this caliber would be willing to live in, where it's so exposed to the exterior and where you don't have a natural backyard and no privacy, you price yourself out from the demographic you targeted, right? So it would have been probably much more profitable if they would have got this property, they've built a smaller house on it, and they've kind of catered it towards an exit price that maybe privacy wasn't as big of an issue and the house maybe was not as obnoxious as it is right now. That might have been a better way of actually thinking it out for what you're gonna build.
Welcome to the living room, which you kind of saw before, but it's pretty big.
It is pretty big, but the actual sitting arrangement, it's so tucked in that space facing the retainer wall away from the view. I would say it's kind of a reception area for, like, you know, before you leave the house, you're waiting on somebody to get ready. I don't see this as neither a formal living space where it's grand or a family room where it's cozy and you actually want to spend time and, like, you know, get under the blankets and, you know, watch a movie.
I love that the house is so big. Like, you could have 52 dining rooms here, but you've got an amazing centerpiece dining set here.
Okay, I like the fact that there's plenty of room for the dining table, but pay attention. You don't feel like you've come into a house yet. You saw a very lousy reception sitting area, and then you come and see the dining room. Like, where is the great room? But now you're like, wait a minute, Arvin, we just entered the house sideways to the view. Yes, you did. Like, your approach is exactly what I told you. You don't enter center to the view.
So when we come outside, two important things to notice.
Okay, I like the fact that it has a terrace because it doesn't have a backyard on this level, which showcases it's a hillside property, right? You ideally would want to have your swimming pool, backyard, lawn on the same level you enter. It's part of the wow factor. It's part of that, you know, your living quarters being connected to your outdoor space. But obviously, because it's hillside, it doesn't have that. And that's a negative of the property. They've compensated some somewhat by having a huge terrace, but it's just not the same.
These doors, we opened up before we started, but these are so simple. These massive sliding glass doors, top of the line doors, top of the line glass, really massive. And then look how thick this wall is.
What is he talking about? The thickness of the wall? Oh my God, this is like, Ryan, what are you doing, bro? We don't sell houses in LA like this. Come on. Look how thick this wall is. Are you serious?
And then you've got the pool deck below you, which is just massive. And again, is like that resort with one of your other major Samsung screens, which is just incredible. And then you've got your view out over the hills.
Okay, let's talk about the view. You don't have a focal point, right? You don't really have a Century City view, clear, or downtown. It's really a canyon view, but the problem is that you're at the bottom base of the canyon and the whole canyon is looking down on you. I would rate this view probably maybe a 4, just because it's lush and green. But, you know, the privacy, I would give it a 2 out of 10. It's just extremely exposed.
Back inside, this is this house's version of an eat-in kitchen.
Okay, massive kitchen. But did you notice how long of a house this was? you have to walk so long from all the way other side to get in there. And that's the problem of layout, right? Like a long house. You can see that from the bird eye view photos of the property. You're going to have that connectivity issue. It's going to be long, not necessarily narrow because it's a massive property, but it's a long house.
This countertop right here, okay? At first it feels like it might be marble that's got that leather treatment to it because it feels like smooth but rough at the same time. This is actually petrified wood. Petrified wood that is 300 million years old. That is the countertop for this island
that no one asked for. You decided to make a huge risk on a kitchen that it's the heart of the house and go with some petrified wood or whatever and make a statement there. Not the right place to do it, and it obviously did not land. You know, you got to look at risk and reward, okay? If you're a developer and you want to introduce an element, you want to maybe on one project start using it as an accent to see how people receive it, and then put it on the main kitchen of the house, right? Over here, it's a complete failure. It looks just unnatural, not a product that you would use in a kitchen.
This house has so much light, these windows, everything, and you have such amazing privacy.
Yeah, you have privacy on your front door because you literally carved out the whole hill and the mountain is blocking you, but you have no privacy on the other side.
The chef's kitchen is actually really, really, really nice. It's massive. Again, you've got 2 sinks, 2 dishwashers. You have 2 wolf ranges. So this is a 16 burner.
This is such an overkill. And this is the prime example of the developer, the owner, buying this lot and calling his architect. He's like, hey, I just bought this lot. Can you find out what's the maximum allowable square footage we can build on this lot? And they call back, it's like 41,000 square feet. Okay, I need you to give me a 41,000 square feet design and we'll figure out, what we're going to put where at that point. Instead of saying, okay, what's the typical price point in this neighborhood that sells? Okay, we want to, target this segment. Let's build according to what they're looking to buy, what finishes they want, what square footage they want, what bedroom configuration they want, and let's build a product that they would be interested in so we can sell this property quickly for the maximum amount of profit. No. Let's just max out.
It's got massive pantry, another refrigerator.
I like this kitchen more than the show kitchen. It's nicer. The show kitchen is just so dark.
Remember, we're still only on the first floor. So we have a couple steps down. Follow the diamond pattern wood flooring.
Okay, the diamond pattern wood flooring is nice, appropriate at the right house. But nothing about this house so far, architecturally, the target buyer, the bachelor, would point out to this type of sophisticated, very, heavy floors. Again, it's just like not cohesive at all with the overall design of the property.
This room is beautiful. These glass doors open up just like we saw in the main living space, showing off these massive vistas. Look at this screen. Again, this is what you get in stadiums, and this house has 4 of them.
It just looks so abnormal. Like the room, it just looks so awkward, right? The TV is way too big for the couch setup, and then you have a bar, so it's like the pool room, like pool house. I don't get it. Again, I would have expected the pool house to open up even more than just the way this did and be closer to the swimming pool.
Like I said before, there are 8 bars in this house.
Just looks so plain. Like the architectural elements, like the curved windows, arch windows, there's no bespoke element about it. It's just kind of an arch window without any, molding around it. It's so raw and it looks unfinished to me. You need to make it more ornate, and you go with a dark bar. Again, you need to make it more sophisticated if you're deciding to go that direction, but they haven't. Just the wall looks so plain.
And I love this window too. Like, I just like curves. There's apartments that you'll find in the city sometimes that when they add in the curved windows, it just sticks out from the crowd and cuts through that noise. And those homes always sell for more because there's architectural detail to even just the glass, not just the plaster, not the plywood, not the steel, but to the glass. And glass is something that we can connect to on a human level because it allows us to be transported.
You're digging yourself in, Ryan. You just went on off a tangent and now you're just digging. What are you getting at?
Like a view into another world. And that's where this is right now, right here.
Fugazi, he just went on a tangent that did not make any sense. And these windows were not ornate. I just made that point, and you're saying the windows are beautiful? Are you serious? I've seen windows in New York townhouses and brownstones and penthouses way nicer than this. This was the most poorly executed window framing I've ever seen. It's so bad.
Commercial elevator, by the way. So fast. My elevator, my house, so slow. Also awesome. My house is great.
Dude, there's a reason why Ennis has kicked his ass and he doesn't make mansion tour videos anymore. He's not good at it.
Look at this light fixture. We saw this when we first came in. This is quite the entrance. Unreal. So clean. And this opens up to this gorgeous picture window in the receiving area for the bedroom.
Okay, I'm impressed. The landing area looks actually pretty good. Huge picture window, frames the view. But then again, I'm having a very hard time digesting these heavy, darker color, detailed floors and just like very blank walls. It just does not contrast well in my book.
If you've gotten to this point in the video, please like, please subscribe, and comment too. So far, up to this moment, how much do you think has been spent on construction from what you've seen so far?
How much money do you think has been wasted on construction so far?
And 2, what's been your favorite thing you've seen up to this moment in the video? Let me know.
My favorite would be so far the landing area. I think the landing area was the nicest thing we've seen so far.
Power shades throughout the house, by the way. Gonna come up, come down, look out, center line. Again, symmetry, so important when you're doing luxury houses. Right on the pool, like dead center to the property line.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's cool. But your entrance was not centered to the pool. And then from the exterior, the facade does not look symmetric at all. Different geometric shapes popping. Windows don't align. It's not symmetrical whatsoever.
And then behind this door is the primary. Did I hit a wall? Oh, I made it through. Primary suite is humongous. Like there is so much to show. There's so much to talk about.
Okay, I think this size of this primary room is at the upper limits of what you should try to do. Maybe it would get a pass, but anything bigger, you would really need to start partitioning, because I believe that innately in our, brain from, the Homo sapiens we used to be, at the location at the room that you want to go sleep, you kind of want to feel protected, right? There's this kind of subconscious element that you want the walls a little bit closer. And when you sleep in this really open, big room, it doesn't give you that comfort. But again, I think they've just got it right. And it's actually not a bad primary bedroom. Again, very masculine, but I guess that's their target buyer.
That's also part of the style of this house because this is a Spanish style mega mansion.
Ryan, define a Spanish style home for me, please. Please. He saw an arch window. It's Spanish. Come on, man.
You've got your first massive dressing area and bathroom, and it's really beautiful. So come here. So this is set up as a pretty masculine bathroom. This would be mine, right? So his and hers. You can obviously do whatever you want, but come over here. Not only do you have the flat screen TV.
So this is really strange. This should be partitioned off, right? For a property of this caliber, you need to enclose it. And the fact that they haven't and it's out there and it's a black, what are we, toilet? Is this like Scarface? It's ridiculous. And then talking about craftsmanship, look at this corner. It's like the craftsmanship. What happened there? Was there a leak over there?
The shower, again, this owner doesn't just like get some guy who goes and finds stone and sends it over. He's like, oh, Italian stone. Our owner here, okay, he went to Italy, goes to the quarry, walks up the rocks and picks it out. So you've got the leather finish here.
Leather finish in the shower. If this story is true and this guy actually went to Italy, he must have the worst taste. No one ever asked for a leather finish in the shower. And obviously, it did not land, ladies and gentlemen. It's been on the market for ages. And it still hasn't sold.
Can you hear it though? Like,
oh my God, this is turning out really weird. Right? You're freaking me out, bro.
And then her bathroom is mind-boggling. Amazingly massive. I don't know, like if I lived here and it was me and Amelia, we would probably both use this.
Freudian. Basically, the other bathrooms sucked. Lighter finishes do so much better in bathrooms and kitchens, right? Like going dark, you better be using something really cool, innovative, changing, proven in the past maybe, you know it's gonna land. It's so risky to go with darker finishes. This looks so much nicer. It balances the dark wood much, much better than the other bathroom.
This might be one of my favorite bathtubs ever. And this is one of these star rooms. Look at the circular pattern of the wood.
Again, their woodwork, floor work has been pretty good. I don't see other elements in the house matching up. It's a very sophisticated, heavy. I guess they had a good subcontractor and they went all out with it. It's pretty cool, but when you put it against all these crappy other material, it just makes the room look unbalanced. Nothing else is really measuring up to that par with it and matching it. As far as privacy goes, I don't know if I would ever want to take a bathtub there with the whole neighborhood looking in.
Toilet room, you've got her shower, which is gorgeous, a whole lot more stone, and 2 separate overhead rain showers, 2 big floor-to-ceiling mirrors, and then you've got this covered outdoor space. This is a great place to sit outside. Gonna have a glass of red wine out here.
You just gotta have the curtains closed because the whole neighborhood sees you. It's good to have that outdoor space, but there's 2 things so far I haven't seen in this primary. One is, where's his closet? The second element, you had 41,000 square foot of living space. You better give me a safe room, vault room in the primary.
And then down this hallway are your additional bedrooms.
Okay, let's give a compliment when it's due. They've been consistent with curving the, where the ceiling and the walls matched. Ryan pointed this out in the primary room. It definitely gives more of a cozy vibe to every room, to this hallway, to the primary living space. It just makes it more, protected, keeps the energy in, as he said.
1, 2, both en suite. 3, 4, again, both en suite. More outdoor space. The other dome, so you've got the wood pattern, and you can see too, look at this detail. In the bathroom, you couldn't see it because that beautiful tub was right above it. But look how calculated this has to be, so that all these individual pieces of wood come together perfectly.
So I would be worried about that with settling, how these little tiny pieces will interlock with each other, because as the property settles, and this is a heavy property, if it's going to settle into the hill and maybe earthquakes and stuff, you could have issues when you go with such a detailed floors like this. You could have them pop out and have issues with it. But again, I think they had a really good floor guy.
But there's an amazing suite here you have to see. So this is an entire secondary primary suite.
Junior primary.
Has an amazing dressing room, which we're gonna see. But a lot of that square footage is then put into this desk and office. Could you imagine if I was just working, and people came in to be like, Ryan, what decisions would you like to make? And I'd be like, I make all the decisions. This is just...
That was funny. That's pretty good.
This room could be a great nursery. So if you live in this house, you own this house. If you're the patriarch, the matriarch, you've got your suite. This is a great first kid suite.
I think this would make a good office. I'll be surprised if it doesn't have a proper office. I would really expect if you have 41,000 square foot, you will have a proper office. But again, I'm expecting this to be all bedrooms here, office, a really cool office somewhere else in the property.
We've done the living floor. Now, let's go have some fun. Things are gonna start to get wild. See the lighting in here? See the little pink? Let's go. So now we are on the entertaining floor. First off, through these glass doors is your basketball court.
Okay, the property is definitely geared towards an NBA player, but a bachelor NBA player. It's cool that you have a basketball court that you can practice and everything. It's fantastic, right? That really makes you stand out.
As we go through, we started out there, but let's go back. We got to go see the outdoors.
Okay, did you notice there's no landing area as soon as you come in? Because they wanted to give natural light to the basement level. That's a negative, but positive for the basement.
This whole house is a fun house, not just the entertaining floor. Massive infinity pool with hot tub, an outdoor bar and kitchen. We've got the turf, everything, and you just swim out right there.
So this is the big problem. Okay, they've targeted this house towards possibly an NBA player, pro athlete, someone who's young, hip, into sports, right? But then they didn't factor in that if he's bachelor, he would certainly prefer views over square footage. Number one thing that they kind of gives them the wow factor that, inviting girls over and that we get impressed the girls with is the view. It's not the square footage. That's why they don't buy in Bel Air. They buy in Hollywood Hills or Truesdale or closer to the action, right? Other problem is privacy. Why would this bachelor would want a party here who's famous, is on the NBA, where every freaking neighbor can put out a scope and take pictures while he's having fun? It just doesn't cater.
We've got another big outdoor screen and everything is completely set up. I mean, the parties you could have here.
No parties you can have over here. By 10:30, the cops are going to be on your butt. Your neighbors complaining because the sound is just going to echo in the whole valley. People across the freaking hill are going to call the cops, and they know exactly which house it is. So you're not going to be able to party at all in this property.
And then look how crazy this outdoor kitchen is. Like, look, first of all, like if you come over here, you can see how perfect everything is and how many different things there are to do. Between, you've got the refrigerator, you've got the ice, right? You've got more ice. You've got another refrigerator.
Okay, I don't care about this. It's actually kind of weird that how open it is. It should be a little bit more tucked in together. But what's kind of impressing is that even though it's artificial, you have a decent width of a backyard. You have a big size swimming pool. I don't think it's a place where you can, kick the ball and stuff, but there's a good width to it.
And you have this incredible view of your house. Like, this is just, I have to take a video from here. Like, this is just wild.
Look at this privacy issue. This house is directly looking to your backyard. So as this one, as this one. Never thought that out.
Back inside. This, for anyone out there who's a commoner, this is like the super wealthy version of a pool cabana.
So this does not give me pool house vibes at all. Very masculine. It's uncomfortable. It's too fancy. It's not earthy. It's not beachy.
And then right across the hallway here is the wine tasting room.
Wait a minute, how is this a wine tasting room? It's a freaking dining table in there. Where's the wine cellar? Shouldn't like the wine tasting be like inside the wine cellar or at least right next to it? Where's the wine? That's what I'm telling you. They've put the square footage. They're like, okay, we have a huge space over here. Let's call it wine tasting.
Stone. See all the stone? And again, you can't feel it. Maybe you can see the detail.
Dude, are you shrooming? I really feel like he's microdosing. I really do. He's tripping out. He's...
As if it was carved out of the earth.
It was carved out of the earth, buddy. Where'd you think it came from?
And then, I don't know if you can see.
Oh.
There's a door here through this stone wall. Is it just storage back here?
I was hoping it would be the wine cellar. Are you serious? Probably the way the hill cuts into the space, there's just a little cavity of a spot and it looked weird, so they just closed it off and it's like natural dirt and stuff. Horrible, horrible design.
And now at the other end of the hallway, we have a couple fun things too. First, we've got one bedroom. This is a great guest bedroom. Every room has amazing tonality. The chevron pattern wood floor, okay? Where the tonality matches the wood in the vanity, which speaks to the stone on the vanity countertop.
Not a bad palette. At least it's cohesive. It's just too brown for my taste, but at least it is cohesive. He's right about that.
And then once you're dry and you're good, then we go watch a movie.
This is so cheesy. Again, how is that goes with those heavy, pattern floors? It's just such a mismatch.
This room, we've got the blue lighting going on right now. This is not totally set up yet because you're gonna do however you want, but a perfect recording studio.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they gotta know what to do with this. We call this the recording studio.
And then this is a 36-person high tech movie theater.
I think this movie theater was pretty decent probably when it came out, but you gotta understand, this property's been on the market for ages. It looks dated, it looks aged, it's just not what's in right now, but I give it a 5.
And now for the rooms you've all been waiting for. First, before, did you look at this bar? Can you look at the archway? Can you look at that screen up there? We are in space right now. Its screen is so big, we are literally in space floating over the earth. Because if you own this house, that's gotta be what it feels like to be this successful.
I wouldn't say successful. I would say someone who has pretty bad taste.
And then we go into our basketball court. This place is huge. I don't know where the basketballs are.
Okay, this is the #1 differentiating factor. Good luck finding a full-size basketball court in Bel Air, it's going to be very difficult for you to find it. So this is your number one differentiating factor. And this is where, you know, you try to fit as much square footage to justify the price point and everything. But then again, if you've targeted this property at least to an NBA player who has kids, right, who has a family, and made sure you would also satisfy the wife's needs and what they want instead of putting 9 bars in the property, like, you know, we're alcoholics. You need to cater to the whole family, right? Is he young? Is he old? Is he retired, right? That's who you got to focus on to make sure you build a cohesive product that would fit them.
And then, if you really want to show off, bum, 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 bum.
What is this?
This is your 20-person garage.
20 car garage. That's pretty cool. I didn't know this. The fact that you could actually have the cars right there by the basketball court is pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that at all. I think that's a cool party trick.
And then on this floor, you have your indoor 75-foot lap pool with your floor to ceiling water feature.
Okay, it's cool to have an indoor pool. It's just not exciting to swim over here. It looks like a dungeon.
Like, look at the stone in the steam room. Look at this.
Where I would want to put my sauna is somewhere where it's in nature, not in a basement, not in a dungeon. Okay, I much rather have a spa that opens up to the valley, opens up to the nature, opens up to the greenery. And this, again, I don't care if you put a freaking book matched, you know, butterfly marble in there. It doesn't give me the vibes.
It's like crazy, just crazy, insane. This house is underpriced.
Underpriced, Ryan. Thank you. Please do not give price opinion on LA properties because 80 million and is underpriced. Ryan, take that back.
I honestly believe that. This house, couple years, $120 million.
You doubled down. You doubled down. Oh, well, I got news for you, Ryan. Couple years has been since you filmed this property, and the property was last listed for 30 million and it did not sell. That's how off you were in this video.
I mean, just look at this. Come around. Look at this angle here. Like, what? Where are we?
You know what Ryan is acting like and feeling is very typical from buyers who move from a small town to a big town, okay? Everything seems interesting and everything seems great because they didn't have the same thing in their town, right? And this is the biggest problem I see. And that's why you need consulting. You need someone that has actually seen it, knows it, and you buy it according to the taste of the locals, right? Because that's your buyer pool. And this property was one of the biggest flops, a clown, a joke of the whole brokerage community. I mean, it's something that, again, a lot of agents in LA, well, actually, I want to say a lot. Most of the agents would still take the listing, but I wouldn't take this listing at any price. You give it to me, ask me, I would be like, I'm sorry, I think there would be better agents that would do this property justice because I just don't like it. I don't think I would do a good job selling this property.
And then behind us is the gym.
See, what happened to the ceiling heights, right? Like, you just dropped to nothing. This is such a dungeon to work out in. I would have much preferred to have looked, you know, had a gym that opened up to the, you know, to the canyon, to the greenery, right? It just looks like such an uninspiring place to work out.
And then underneath the wine tasting room is the 1,200 bottle wine cellar. And it's truly a cellar. It's downstairs with its own private stairwell just to come into this room.
This is so stupid. You had 41,000 square foot of living space, and part of the wine cellar goes under the stairs. And why did you separate the wine cellar from wine tasting room? Part of the wine tasting experience is looking at and being in the wine cellar and experiencing that vibe and energy, looking at the bottles, having a sip, and then checking out a bottle, looking at it. No, every time you want another one, you got to go downstairs, look it up, and go back up. It just tells me they had too much square footage and they didn't know what to do with it. The whole point of all these spaces is to fill the square footage that you started with, right? To justify your exit. Because in their head, they're thinking, you know what? What's the lowest price per square foot it would sell? And when the buyer comes and sees, oh my God, this is only what, you know, $2,000 a square foot, and I'm going to get all the stuff, they're going to say yes. But no, it doesn't work that way. The house needs to have a feeling. It needs to first make the person fall in love with it, and then they will look to way to justify it through price per square foot, right? It was one method. But if you don't do the right thing for the person to fall in love with the property, then you will never get to the part that you're going to calculate how much they should pay for it. And this property failed exactly that. It failed to satisfy the privacy issue. It didn't have a well thought out target buyer. It was priced ridiculously high at 100 million, and it missed the booming time when the market was doing really, really good. And, it didn't sell because it was so high. And, now it's on the market. Supposedly it went to auction. It did not sell. And it's still available for lease for some reason. This is a typical problem that you would see developers who are not experienced. They're kind of have their head under the sand and being just really not looking out at the competition, the finishes that they use, right? Studying the market, who's the target buyer. It's just a classic example of that. This property also had the same issue. Check it out, and I will see you guys in the comments. Thanks for watching.